Hello, historical people. Wes again, talking about English longsword with my mandatory cup of tea. Want to go over the second lesson of Harley and manuscript. Okay, as sort of mentioned by Gareth Pryor in his works of scholarly works of George Silver, Part 3. Okay, what I'm looking at in this one is the half hawk. Now, the way Gareth describes a half hawk here, very different to what I anticipated. So the hawk we know is a downward strike coming from high up, so whatever, just downward strike. Half hawk I've always thought to be just a lever action with the sword, and that's been working really well for me in sparring, to be fair, so whatever. But the way it's described in this play is at the elbows, but in a weird way, cleaving at the elbows and then pivoting at the elbows or whatever. So they said the cleaving bit was a pun intending to adhere or something else, but it makes a specific point of keeping the elbows to a side to protect the hands, to keep the sword in front to protect the hands. Now, when I think of how to do that, like if I'm doing that like this, doesn't really, you could do it, maybe, but if I'm working from my normal hawk guard, it kind of makes more sense to attack almost with the false edge on the first one at least, and really tuck in. So I'm in this sort of quarter guard, and then it wants me to do 2 double rounds, which I think 2 double rounds is definitely an attack twice. Again, Gareth in his first lesson, or in the first Harlequin lesson, he's mentioned that double can refer to just holding it with 2 hands, holding the sword with 2 hands, which seems like a weird thing for them to say, but oh well. But this one definitely says 2 double rounds, so even if that's just 2 attacks, then bang, bang. It also says with your 3 foot outward and as many homeward, so there is a good chance that could just be bang, bang, or Zverkow sort of thing, because I am moving off to the side anyway and then running away. The Zverkow thing can give me good access to protection as I'm running away, so it's actually not a bad compromise. I keep giving it a load of shit, to be fair, the Zverkow thing, so I'm not the most fond of it, but playing around with it more, it does seem to work. However, I do still like to keep my hands up where I can, unless they're crossed. So why? I just feel like that protects the centre line a little bit more than when I come up here. But who knows? Who knows? Again, I'm no expert in longsword and no expert in English. So here we go. Yeah, so the second play of, I think I've been rambling, but yeah, the second play could be ran in a few different ways. So if I look at my half hawks as bang, then it's different. I'm pretty sure it's 2 hawks with half hawks. So I originally thought that would be bang, 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 bang. Okay, but that actually doesn't make any sense unless I sort of pull the fight out a bit, and then it's more like something like this. So I'm out of distance, sort of goading with those hawks, sort of provoking with these attacks. I've got no real intention to land them yet, but I'm really giving the opponent the message that I'm going to hit you vertically, and then I'm slapping from the side and getting out there. That could be another way of doing it, because again, in most of the lessons, especially as you get later on, you're always using some kind of proffer, spring, or whatever, so I don't think your first action is ever supposed to really hit anyone. Especially when I look at the lesson of, I think it's the 7th, where you cut down, and you're supposed to cross at the elbows, or hawk in, cross at the elbows. That's kind of like, to me, the whole point of that is to teach yourself to back out of a bad situation. So I think the first hawk, half hawk type deals aren't supposed to really land, and the hawks come on in. And then your half orc is kind of more like your Shilhow, or maybe that. But the way Gareth says it, especially when he mentions pivoting at the elbows and keeping them to one side, something like this seems quite effective. But obviously there's not really any force in them. But then it would set me up nicely for that. I don't know why you'd enter an attack like that. But maybe I'll try it, see what happens. Alright, I think that's enough on that one. Hopefully that's useful. See you in a bit.